Sure, yeah, let's
Cool.
talk.
Danny, how are you good? How are you doing, man?
I'm doing great. It's
Good.
great to be here. Thank you for asking me to do this.
No, it's no problem.
Yeah.
It's like I just said before we came on. I think your content is probably some of the most interesting and educational and highlighting sort of content that I've seen certainly in the last couple of months. So
Oh, thank you.
thank you for
Well,
putting it out. What was your reason for doing it?
which content are you referring to specifically? Like
So I mean,
the
there's
YouTube lessons, the long form stuff, or like the rants on Instagram?
I wouldn't call them rants on Instagram, but let's talk about the rants on Instagram.
That just started about 2 months ago.
Yeah.
We were just on the road. Now, I think what really happened was Nick over there, who's my video editor. We film
Mm.
our content like for YouTube and Patreon here every Monday, and he just found this uh, reaction video to the Berkeley professors,
Mm.
and they. It was a magical. It still is a magical page. I think you guys can access it on Instagram. Unfortunately, they blocked
Mm.
me. But if
Okay.
you go to the Berkeley Guitar Department, they were just so out of touch and like just putting out crazy shit, just
Yeah.
like wild, out of touch shit that some like administrator, like menopausal woman was like filming with her iPhone, just like walking around being out like ha ha ha, like they're all giddy and happy and putting Star Wars music
Yeah.
while just being like this horrible corporate debt machine enslaving musicians, but like
Yeah.
they had like a shark. They didn't get the irony. It's like a loan shark.
Right.
It's like that's people are seeing like that's showing the proficiency exam. And so I was just like doing some reaction videos, just you know pointing out like the obvious like dissonance between like how giddy and happy and like weird like 80s nostalgia out of touch this thing
Mm.
is, while at the same time being like this surf making factory that is just like putting people into crippling debt, which is like, to me, again, I'm not some sort of Che Guevara figure that's like about to like take on the man, and like I have no problem with the capitalist system. I'm just saying
Yeah.
that shit was just funny.
Mm.
So I was just pointed, I was like, that's funny. And then there were a lot of people. First of all, it took off, like it
Yeah.
succeeded like in a big way. Like we put content out all the time, and just having something that has a moment makes you think about, wait a second, like, oh, like as a content creator, that's the kind of thing you're looking for. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
also like very self-aware that like our job, both me and you, we fill up we shelve the digital grocery store.
Mm.
That's basically what we're doing. We are at the best case scenario, we're private contractors for Google or Apple or Meta
Right.
or
Yeah. Yeah.
whatever. Like that's who we're working for. So once you identify that something starts moving, you lean into it. So
Mm.
that's all I did. And then a lot of Berkeley grads, which I am a Berkeley grad, but like a lot of
Yeah.
other Berkeley grads came to the defense of some of these professors in the video. So I made like a funny fake apology video where I was just like, criticizing them more. And then that took off, and I realized that I'm just onto something with like, the format. Like all of a sudden I have something that a lot of people can see. So I just started, just leaning into that thing, which is
Yeah.
just picking a topic and like joking about it. The funny thing is that like, I had a podcast like with the saxophonist in Marvin, my band,
Yeah.
Dani Markovich, and we had like over 100 episodes, and there's nothing I've said in any of these rants that we didn't say long form
Yeah.
between the two of us. Like it's like recycled material for the most part. It's jokes that we've been making, like just hanging out about music and musicians and things we've been saying for years. But the format,
Mm.
everything, it's like the idiom is the message, right?
Yeah.
That's the thing that you learn about it. And it was like this TikTok-y kind of thing where I'm just reading off a teleprompter app and walking
Yeah.
down the street, and just it's front facing, and it's like it's totally ridiculous. Like all I do, like I wrote the first 4 or 5 rants that I did, and after that point, all I ever did was just you know, would go to Notepad and
Mm.
just pick a topic on my phone and just start making jokes about it incoherently. Like,
Yeah.
just like no grammar, no punctuation, just like, scat lady, haha, like, just come up with like jokes about them coughing, fur balls of hate, like, and people are like, I just would like write like all the funny shit I could think of with no grammar, and then I put it into ChatGPT.
Yeah.
Uh, you know, Make it in the style of my first five rants, and just kind of clean up the grammar, and I'd edit it. It's like the whole process is like 20 minutes per rant, and then I'd put it
Yeah.
in the teleprompter and read it, and it's just like in 5 minutes, it's like 20,000 people, and I just do it again and again and again, and
Yeah.
uh, and I'm talking about it openly because I truly don't give a shit. Like, if it ends tomorrow,
Yeah.
that is totally fine with me. It's just funny. It's light. I had another British, podcaster asked me to go on and debate the scat lady thing that I put out.
Right.
It's just like, I just want to know, like, why are you so, why is it so derogatory towards women? What about scat singer? I was just like, it's because scat ladies is like cat ladies. If I said scat man, it wouldn't be a joke, right? It's
Yeah.
just like, I just like, this is, it's just not fucking funny.
Yeah.
So yeah. Anyways,
Okay.
so that's where this whole thing is. I mean, I wish I was some sort of like a philosopher that's trying to change the world, but I'm just like making funny shit.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's on the nose. I mean, I saw the. I'm sure it's probably the same video that you saw. There was like a Berkeley tutor jam, and there's
Oh
four or
yeah.
five guitar players. I think it's about a year ago. And I was
Yep.
watching. I'm going, is it? It's shit, isn't it? And I
It's
sent it
shit.
to a friend of mine, and I said, is this shit, or am I just do I not get it? And he went, no, it's shit. I was
It's
like,
shit.
but why? Why is it shit? These are kind of like, because you look at Berkeley, like the names that have come out of Berkeley, the people that have taught there, it was kind of regarded as the school to go to. So why is it?
I mean, Tim Miller
What?
was playing there. Tim Miller isn't shit, but
Yeah,
it's like, it's not enough to be like, you could swallow a diamond, and if you shit it out, it's still a diamond inside a piece of shit. Yeah. So so it's like, you can have a good player in a shitty, horrible environment, and it's still shit. Like, your
yeah,
guitar solo is not going to save a song.
yeah. So yeah, and I thought it was just a bit. I thought it was just bizarre, and then I think it was around then, and your reel started popping up, and I think you started to regurgitate the same jam and comment over it. I was like, yeah,
Well, it's because great
that's
music is rare. That's why
yeah,
it's great. If
yeah,
not, everything would be great. We just walk around, and this, like, it would be amazing if everywhere you turned was like amazing, inspiring music. But the thing that make things stand out is how you know how great they are. And it's like,
mm,
at the end of the day, like, great jazz fusion playing, or whatever they were trying to do there, is or great jazz playing is rare. It's not typical. It's exceptional, right?
yeah,
It's Wes Montgomery, to this day, like, if you just resurrect Charlie Parker, he'd still be better than everybody. It's like, these people are just like, a lot of these guys that, like, we look up to are like once in a generation type people.
yeah,
So I mean, and that's a good thing. That's not a bad thing. But I think it's the pretense that a lot of these things could be taught,
mm,
and then when you see the people that are supposed to be the custodians of this information, and then you listen to them with your just ears that you use every day to just check out Spotify, and you're like, wait a second, this sounds way worse than the worst shit I listened to. What happened there?
yeah,
It's like, and how is this worth the money all of a sudden? Like, how
yeah,
how does any of this make sense? And it doesn't. Um, I mean, I have not all negative. Like, it's not like I went to Berkeley. I not all of the information that was handed to me there was shit.
mm,
Some of it was good. Some of it was just the same thing you could find in any theory book. But, like, as an 18-year-old, I probably maybe at that age would not have the patience to sit down and do it on my own. Maybe I needed the hand holding. I don't know. I don't have the
Yeah.
counterfactual, version of my own history where I didn't go to school and tried to study from a book from 18 to whatever 22.
Yeah.
Um, I think that I always found my own situation, like, subjectively during my school years. I was very frustrated with the lack of free time I had to devote to my guitar playing, even though I was practicing most of the day.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which now, like having a family and kids, like it's like I can't believe I had like whatever five
I know.
six hours to
I know.
practice a
Yeah.
day.
I
It's
was I was thinking that driving. I just picked my daughter up from the park from seeing her friends. I was driving back. I was like, man, like summer holidays have just started. I was like, I haven't done any fucking like
yeah, it's
purposeful
rough.
practice since summer
Yeah.
holidays started, which is just over a
Oh,
week. Like I've done stuff for shows and gigs that have coming up, and I've got things coming up that I'm gonna. But when am I gonna? And I've got this little studio here that I'm really pleased with, and I've done a few little recording sessions, but nothing. I haven't got my teeth into anything.
yeah,
And it's just
yeah,
fucking. It's just
yeah.
like
It's
I
just no
can't
time.
believe I wasted
It's
days and hours on dicking around.
Yeah, and it's like, and I was always pretty serious about practicing, but like, in
Hmm.
those days, like the 3 hours or 2 hours a day I'd have to like devote to music history or conducting was just like, I remember the feeling of like, why do I need to do, like, this has nothing to do with what I want to do. Why am I
Yeah.
doing, like, just being in a school environment where there's a lot of filler. There's a lot of stuff that is like, supposed to be generally good for you, but I don't fucking care what like Haydn ate for breakfast, like whatever they teach, like,
Yeah.
like how where Bach shit in the woods.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like it doesn't matter. I don't care. It's like it's
Yeah.
not, but it's a part of the pretend value that they're trying to pack in.
Hmm.
Just fill it up with fluff.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
think like there's a clip that I saw of yours the other day. I think it was you were just alluding to it. Like, do you think you're going to have more time to practice it if you go to one of these colleges? And I
Yeah.
remember it brought back memories when I was at college. This was like kind of early 2000s. I booked out a practice room to go and do some practice in, and it was this tiny little dank room that stank of fucking sweat. There was a drum kit in there, an amp that barely worked, and a music stand that was a little bit floppy. I was like, well, this fucking sucks. I thought I was expecting a room that was going to be,
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
little
I
bit
remember.
inspiring. And I was just like, no, just go home.
I refused to go to the practice rooms at Berkeley at the dorm. I would just like sit there in my room and always get in trouble with like the RAs, the resident
Right.
attendants. They would just like knock on the door, like, stop playing. I was just like, fuck you.
Yeah.
But I was,
So you couldn't practice in your room.
yeah, no, they in the dorms would have to go to the practice rooms downstairs. I did.
Fucking hell.
I just refused to. I just couldn't sit there. It was just like an empty room with like a piano. Just like, this fucking sucks.
Yeah.
There's no vibe. But I was always. I mean, I think in my band and the way I am, like we're a jazz band, or like a fusion band, but we've always had the ethos of like a punk rock band,
Yeah.
like just in terms of like everything.
Yeah.
So I never blended into like the jazz scene and the jazz world. To me, it always seemed stupid.
Okay.
Yeah.
So other than all of that, how was your time at Berkeley?
I don't know. It's like, I was young. It was average. It was
Yeah.
fine. It was like, it wasn't horrible. I didn't get in debt. My parents paid for it.
Okay.
It was all right. It didn't ruin my life, but I was surrounded by people. Like, I was always more just like with my eyes open. Like, if you saw that video, I had a girlfriend that went into like
Yeah.
life altering debt. Like,
Yeah.
still paying that, whatever restaurant she works in now. And like a lot of the people I graduated with, that went through the whole thing, like they don't know how to, they don't have their altered scale together. They
Yeah.
don't have their symmetric diminished chops. They don't know anything. Like,
Yeah.
it's like a lot of them went in kind of singer songwriters and left singer song. Like, it's like they're,
Yeah.
the thing that they got there, I just love the way they sell it. It's like networking. It's like,
Mm.
you make friends with the people around you. If you make friends with like the best musicians, then, and they go to have careers, they will elevate you, sure. But there are a lot of antisocial people too that don't make friends in high school or middle school, and they're not going to make
Mm.
friends in college. So
Yeah.
if you're the kind of person that makes friends, then move to New York and hang out with
Yeah.
musicians and make friends. Like,
Yeah.
why do you have to net make friends then? Like, why do you
Yeah.
have to pay all that? Because you're in a hub. It's like just go to where they go, like at night. You know what I mean? Why can't you like go to like you have to be in class with the
Mm.
person? Like you can't talk in class. Go hang out outside
Yeah.
for free. Rent an apartment in Berkeley, across from the Berkeley beach, 150 Mass. Sit outside all day. That's where people in the ensemble, like you're networking over playing the chicken.
Yeah.
It's nonsense.
Yeah.
You
So
know?
what do you think? Like, if you had to run your own school, how would that look?
Boo. I have no idea.
Okay.
I don't know of a good way to do it. I mean, I would guess. First of all, I'm not sure if like that model
Mm.
is the correct idea.
Okay.
Like a music school, like you the idea that that environment is how this works, it seems false by definition. Like all the great, like especially for jazz, like all the great players, maybe went to some school, but like most of how you learn this stuff is by playing gigs.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's the way to go, to move somewhere and do like an apprenticeship seems
Mm.
way more the road, like private instruction, sitting
Yeah.
with a student and analyzing their playing one-on-one, be like, no, like that thing you're doing, it's like your time is fucked up. Like, you know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like when you're like, I don't like you think you're swinging, but I don't feel it from where I'm standing. I know what this is supposed to feel like. The
Yeah.
voicings you're using, I don't hear the harmony. Your lines, you're using a lot of like weird patterns. They don't sound like the tune. Like
Right.
the way you're playing the melody, I don't feel anything. Right? It's like you're not using enough articulation.
Mm.
Your vibrato, you're using uncontrolled vibrato all the time because you're used to playing blues, but now you're sitting there trying to play a jazz tune with the same
Yeah.
physicality. There's a lot of things, a lot of problems that emerge out of an individual that if you're like more experienced, you might be the person that's noticing it and like is offering some sort of road to fixing it. Also, there's no such like even in jazz, it's so stylized and there's so many ways to think about it. Like I always one of the things with guitar that keeps emerging would be like, how should I think? How
Mm.
should I think about changes? How should I think about harmony? Well, it's like if you're trying to be Alan Holdsworth and if you're trying to be Joe Pass,
Mm.
there are two different, like, let's say, harmonic pathways that both lead to very different places. But all good music, you got to think about it like climbing this mountain, but
Mm.
the top of it is like as big as a continent, right? It's like it's a gigantic summit and the view is vast and your ability to see the view is very small, right?
Yeah.
You're kind of like limited by the scope of your vision.
Yeah.
And you have to think about each way of climbing the mountain like a pathway up. And some of them are excellent pathways, like Joe Pass, like with thinking about chords and caged and chord tones
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
extensions and like, all that, or Holdsworth, where it's like modes and Messiaen modes and all this stuff and like parent scales. And they both lead to very different areas of this
Mm.
mountaintop. And then you have like some shitty pathways that are like paved, end up like at a cliff like a quarter of the way up, like death metal tabs, like, you know what I mean? Like, and then you're just there for a while, like, I don't know, like you have to like climb back down, go up another way.
Yeah.
So that, like, you have to think about it in those terms. Like, there's no, it's not like there's no good ways to climb. There are excellent ways to climb. First of all, do you want to climb a
Mm.
paved way that somebody else paved the way? Are you trying to get there the way Wes Montgomery got there? Are you trying
Yeah.
to get there the way Django got there? Like, which way are you? What do you like? Right? It's like,
Yeah.
and some, like for me, I always knew what I liked. I liked Stevie Ray Vaughan. I liked Scott Henderson. I liked Holdsworth. I liked Joe Pass. I liked Wes Montgomery. I liked Django. I never liked John McLaughlin.
Right.
I never liked like El Di Meola's playing. Like, it's
Mm.
just like, I listen to it and it's like, it's good. I recognize it's good. It's like, but for me, I there was no part of me wanted to go down that path. I would listen to Tommy Emmanuel. I was just like,
Mm.
wow, that is excellent. I care. I give zero shits about becoming that.
Yeah.
It's like it wasn't. You have to have this sense of like your calling,
Yeah.
and it will pull you to specific places. And sometimes these places would be completely at odds with each other, and then you'd have to like be like, shit, climb back down, go up
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
way, climb
Yeah.
back down, go out that way, just to get like a glimpse of the view. It says, oh, you know what, or sometimes like, you practice be in a Stevie Ray Vaughan thing, and then you see somebody wearing the fucking hat, singing just like and playing the note, like, maybe this is not a good idea for me. Like back down, up the, and eventually, like you figure out enough things to where, like, I think when you start writing your own music, I think that the goal at the end of the day is write music,
Mm.
record it, play it for people.
Yeah.
Very, very simple. And everything else, if that is the ethos, then everything else is just like, a step along the way to serve that. Then for me, that's the correct mindset for a musician, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
the healthy one. If you get hired to do other people's stuff, carry the same kind of energy and sincerity that you would to your own music doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't even remember the original question that led us here,
Doesn't
but
matter.
yeah. but in terms of like, moving forward in music, that's sort of how I visualize
Mm.
the progression.
Yeah. So I mean, and I know you've mentioned that you do your jazz fusion band, and
Mhm.
you write and record your own stuff. Like, what else? Is there anything else that you do? I mean, do you do kind of session work? Do you do any teaching? Do you do any function gigs? Anything like that?
So we run a Patreon. So what we do basically is, me and Nick over there, we record like one full length video for YouTube every week.
Okay.
And then we release like 3 to 4 to Patreon behind the
Hmm.
paywall. And from that, I've gotten to a place where, like, right now I'm teaching like 40 hours a week, private students on
Yeah.
Zoom. So the Patreon has created a sort of demand for one-on-one lessons with me, and I've been like
Okay.
doing that super full time. And then with my band, we tour 3 or 4 times a year. And now we're in this phase of life. This all started because we just all started having families, and
Yeah.
with Marvin, we were on the road as our only gig, only source of income for over a decade.
Okay.
And, it's like, I just realized at a certain point, certain things happen too in life, but like a lot of my heroes are like just terrible fathers,
Mm.
or forced to a position where they just have to be gone all the time.
Yeah.
And when my daughter was first born, it was just kind of clear to me that there's an amount of time that if you're gone, it's,
You're
there
not going to
there
get that back.
no, there's a certain, you have to start asking yourself questions about how you want to live your life, like,
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
like what kind of damage you want to do to your own family, to your wife, to your
Yeah.
child.
Okay.
uh
How
and
old is your daughter?
3.5 now.
All right. Okay. So mine's nearly 14,
Mhm.
and
Damage is
I
done, go.
yeah, I just didn't think that. I could start. Well, I've got two, and the other's 12, nearly 13. But I tell you what, it's like although I was gigging and I was doing a lot of teaching and stuff, I was kind of always there during the day, like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Those school hours, I was always there, and I
Yeah.
was always working in the weekends. And there is a part of me that is so glad that I did that, because when I look at my daughter now, I miss that little 3, 4 year old girl.
Mm.
Like, she's never coming back. I've now got this grumpy little teenager that's going through puberty and all the teenage years and trying to figure out who she is. And I'm just kind of grateful that I got to sit through a lot of that kind of really early stuff, and I wasn't away on the road too much.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So, I mean, like,
No,
yeah,
that's real. I
it's
mean,
important. And
very important.
I do see a lot of my friends who have kids constantly on the road. I'm like, dude, you're fucking missing it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
No, my 3.5-year-old is very sweet, insane, like constant. Like, there's a lot of. I think you just forgot a little bit of what it's like to have a 3.5 year
Yeah,
old.
I have. Definitely, I have.
You
Definitely rose
remember
tinted.
you remember the good shit. It's a lot of energy. It's fucking crazy. But yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, it's it's strange that when you get into these life situations, like I I I'm just shocked. I thought that I'd just go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Hmm.
I thought that I would. Like I always, in every other intersection in my life, I've always prioritized gigs and music over family.
Yeah.
It's that's I left, like I'm from Israel. I left there when I was like 18
Yeah.
to come here and just do this full time, and have always sacrificed relationships and whatever to just be gone and just play. It's weird. Like I remember having like I have like I had one marriage before that didn't work, and it was just like I'm going, and that's just like
Mm.
you just like you have this dramatic fight, and you end up like in a bar playing for like 13 people, just like
Yeah.
this is worth it. I have to do this,
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
uh, but yeah, I'm glad that I didn't choose that this time
It's
around.
it's
Yeah,
amazing how your perspective changes when you're holding this little bundle of joy. You're like,
yeah.
okay,
No,
everything's changed now.
it's the best thing. I mean,
Yeah.
I highly recommend it. It is objectively more important than your solo.
Yeah. Yeah. That bum flat five note, which I thought was going to be killer, now
Hmm.
doesn't seem such a big deal.
Hmm.
So with a small daughter and family stuff, like what does your practice sessions look like?
Um, I don't know if I really like. So I teach. All my students are like professional musicians.
Yeah.
Some blues lawyers and blues dads too, but like mostly like people gigging or teaching. So I think through teaching, since I get to only really talk about topics that I am still working through.
Hmm.
I always am sort of staying in a place where I'm at the edge of my ability, at the edge of my knowledge. So I
Hmm.
always have to like work through like whatever the next thing would be. But my approach to practicing is has always been the same, which is I think practice routines are a horrible idea.
Yeah.
I think that like making yourself a schedule
Mm.
uh, assumes first of all that you, the person you ended up being as a player, also is capable of diagnosing your own problems.
Yeah.
Kind of ahead of time, like yesterday's you is in charge of tomorrow's
Hmm.
actions.
Yeah.
So it's like you're always not really updating. Um, and the way I really look at it is you have to only work on what you consider to be your biggest problem. Like
Okay.
you listen to yourself. The process is simple. Like you don't have to like you take one take. You don't like edit. You don't
Hmm.
try to make it be anything that it isn't. You just play the way you play in a context. Could be like playing rhythm guitar, whatever it is that you are doing in your actual life, not the player you wish. Like if you're like a cover band musician and you are really working on your West Montgomery blues, like play the cover band music, play the thing you do,
Yeah.
the thing that you professionally do, and listen to it and ask yourself, well, what is the biggest problem I'm hearing?
Mm.
What's wrong with this? If nothing's wrong with this, then you probably are not critical enough. If everything is wrong with it, if it's like this is all shit, then you're
Mm.
overly critical. You can't. It's like the self hate is blinding you, or the not caring enough is blinding you.
Yeah.
So once you can focus in on something, like if there are wrong notes, notes tend to be like the most obvious problem. So if there are notes that just sound bum against the chords, right?
Hmm.
Notes are kind of like the basketball in the game. It's like you can't, like if you're just not dribbling, then you're always kind of like, you're fucking up the game. So it's like you need to just like playing the right notes on chords is kind of like dribbling. It's the
Yeah.
most. It's like it seems not basic to people who play some styles of music, but it's the most basic skill. So first of all, get your notes right.
Yeah.
Once your notes are right, they will make a second layer of errors visible. Is your tone shitty? Is your
Mm.
articulation shitty? Are your rhythms soggy? Are you playing ahead? Are you playing behind? I don't know what your problem is, but you
Yeah.
have to analyze your problem. And then you have to say, when I'm listening to this, this is my biggest problem. And then you need to start working on fixing it somehow. So
Hmm.
that could be like, a great thing to do is like, shit. Like, I don't know how to, I'm constant, my time is shaky. Like I'm ahead, I'm
Yeah. Yeah.
behind,
Yeah.
what's going on? How does one fix that? Maybe it's a physical thing. Maybe I'm moving my body wrong. Maybe I'm using a motion that's too tiny when I need to dance more and use like bigger muscles.
Mm.
Maybe I'm not grounded to the rhythm. Maybe I need to just work on feeling the groove, right? Maybe I
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
need to put a metronome on and like stop kind of being like a leaf in the wind. Maybe when I start thinking ahead, I start rushing. Maybe when I start you know maybe when I start thinking about notes, I get behind the music. I don't know what's
Mm.
going on, but it's like it's analyzing things from this problem solving place of what, not what problems you could be having with music are, but what are your specific problems that are noticeable to you, right?
Yeah.
Because people constantly practice without practicing the things that they hear as errors in their own playing. And then they have this feeling of plateauing. But
Mm.
plateauing, you would still feel like you're plateauing if you're fixing problems that you're not experiencing as problems as a listener. The
Mm.
feeling of moving forward, right? Getting better is working on any problem you have. You're getting better at something.
Yeah.
But the feeling of progressing is fixing the problems that you are noticing
Yeah.
in order, just like one after the other. Then it's like, holy shit, like I'm listening to myself playing on this funk groove. It's just like, listen to this from last week. I'm not hitting any of those flat twos anymore. Then
Yeah.
the rhythms, and like when I'm playing 16th notes, it sounds like it's in the groove. Then I can get this like horn-like articulation because you're just adding the things that like maybe you measures how a hero of yours is engaging with a solo situation compared to you. That's a really healthy thing to do.
Mm.
Find a Jeff Beck version, a Jeff Beck like thing playing on a C minor groove, approximately the same tempo, and see how his shit feels. Like, how do I
Yeah.
make this feel more like that? Like, you learn how to float more. You learn how to play like a vocalist, right? So there's there are things that you could be doing if you're in this more creative space of problem solving rather this academic of like, no, I need to work on my dyads, triads, four part, like
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
where there's
Yeah.
like this fake stupid hierarchy of information that like is very far from how you think about music.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I used to have, I still kind of do have lessons with a guy who, like, technically just unbelievable. And he would have, and this is just what worked for him. And he would have, like, I'll do 20 minutes alternate picking, I'll do 20 minutes sweeping, I'll do 20 minutes tapping, 20 minutes of this, then 20 minutes of that. Then I'll take a break and then I'll just repeat that whole thing over and over again. And he said, you should try that. And I said, I probably wouldn't get to the end of the second 20 minutes because that's just not how I work or digest or process information.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
I'm much more suited to, like, if because I went to him initially because my picking was shit. I just hit a ceiling and I couldn't get above this ceiling. And he made some adjustments, hand positions, tried playing like this, adjusting the pick direction so you get more of an angle on the pick rather than it being flat. And it started to, like, the picking just got better and better. And now it's like, well, instead of sitting and doing exercises, why don't I learn a piece that has like shitloads of alternate picking in it? Because that's
Can I say something to you about picking?
yeah.
Just from like the thing you were showing right here. Uh, this is the most important muscle in the human body when it comes to picking.
Okay.
I'll show you a little wave high to me. Okay. Now do this and wave high to me. Bend this wrist, this knuckle.
Yeah.
What happened?
It's more stable.
Well, it's more stable, but the wrist is locked. So
Okay.
like this thing is not, if you put, I just saw when you were doing this picking,
Yeah.
you this little angle
Yeah.
destroys your ability to play with your wrist.
Okay. So
So
yes. So when
it's
I hold a pick, I'm like this.
yeah. So if you're holding a pick like this, you'll never be able to pick past a certain speed because you're locking your wrist in place. This muscle,
Yeah.
it has to be disengaged when you're picking. So if you straighten your thumb, it will relax this muscle. There are two muscles in the hand, this
Okay.
one and this one. The relaxation in this one creates that free flowing, you know, picking. Now, there's a couple of ways to hold the pick, right? There's like the normal way that Django Reinhardt uses, that I use, that everybody uses, which is
Yeah.
like closing the hand like this.
Yeah.
There's the
Yeah.
George Benson way, which is like the tip of the thumb and Sean Lane against the
Okay.
thing. And then there's the Matheny, Steve Morse way, two fingers. But they all have a flat thumb. And the reason for the flat thumb is that when you're playing slow, you want to use like, it's kind of like a grandfather's clock. You want to use like this bigger motion to get from place to place. And at that point, it's okay to have an angle right there because it's forcing the motion to be from your elbow joint.
Okay.
But when you start being rapid, you want a loose wrist to where you can pick fast, and you play lines like, in this kind of fashion. And it all relies on just like rotating from here, right? So it's just that muscle.
I think when I'm playing, let's see if I can do it.
Yeah.
I think it's straighter than it usually is. Like I think I'm over exaggerating. Yeah, it's like that.
Yeah. So like just the relax. It's also like not putting downward pressure with the thumb. So it's like if you just loose work on like kind of like, relaxing this muscle.
Yeah.
Like just putting all the focus on this part of the hand. When you're playing like in kind of like, when you're trying to play like high speed stuff, and just really focus on how loose this feels. That tends to be the magic solution. Anyway, side note.
Anyway, so what do I owe you for that lesson? But I'll tell you what I was doing. I used to play like this. That's how my thumb used to be, like inside, and I would play with everything rigid.
Mm-hmm. That's not a bad thumb position as long as it's not pressing down, right? So it's like everything it's like the thumb is actually just it's just connected to the muscle, but it's really about what it does to the rest of the body, right? It's like if you look at the gypsy jazz guys play, they're rotating their forearms, but their wrists are just the weight of the hand is driving the motion. It's like a paperweight. Right. And when you look at Malmsteen, he's doing pretty much the same thing, just like with this blade of the hand on the guitar, but the motion is just all still just supinating that arm bone with a loose wrist.
Yeah, it was definitely because I was picking kind of from the elbow.
Yeah, that's always a mistake.
And he was like, no, you got to be all from the wrist. Get a little bounce going. And loosen that up. So it was like life changing. It was then after I started doing that, the ceiling went up. But his practice routine was just like, it was like a military exercise. And I was like, I just can't.
Yeah, that doesn't work for every personality type. Certainly did not work for me ever.
It certainly didn't work for me. So it was, but it was good to kind of get that bad technique that you pick up, when you're 15, 16.
Yeah.
You watch people on video. But then when I watch Guthrie Govan he seems to pick from his elbow. He doesn't, he hasn't got that loose thing going on with his wrist.
True.
But I think he's an anomaly.
Yeah, we just got to meet those guys and hang out at we were playing Cruise to the Edge this spring, and they were on there too. So it's nice. Like the
he was actually one of my tutors when I was at college.
Really?
Yeah, it was
cool.
Fucking staggering. Like, this was even 20 years ago. It was just phenomenal.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So I know you've kind of alluded to getting better, but what does getting better mean to you today versus what did it mean to you, when you were 18 and you move over from Israel?
Man, I don't even remember what it used to mean. Honestly, I think I was like in this like shreddy kind of paradigm, like being like, I guess more like Frank Abali, Sean Lane, Scott Henderson, Alan Holdsworth is what like it meant to me back then. just it was this, I think I really wanted to impress people. I think
Yeah.
like some guitar players, like when I would watch them play, I would get this feeling of awe. Like I would just it would just I was always drawn like to, I guess, the more extreme technical end of
Hmm.
soloing. Like as a child, like I'd listen to metal, but it would just be like this thing of like, okay, Metallica, that's okay, but like Megadeth, that's better, and like
Yeah.
Racer X, and like I would just like be drawn to like the guitar solo, kind of like in almost like it wasn't chops. It was like this combination of like something that speaks, but like a Nuno solo, just a great
Mm.
tone, the great feeling, and the chops, and like
Yeah.
everything together just blow my mind. And I wanted to like blow people's minds in the way that my mind was blown. So I think something along that line. It was way more about the impact that my the things coming out of me would have on this audience I pretended um, existed, but only existed in my mind. My
Yeah.
friends couldn't care less about Ingrid Malmsteen. The people in my life, like to them, it was just like, okay, that just happened. Am I supposed to be like,
Yeah.
I'm not in this sport. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's like me watching curling or something. I it's
Yeah.
just like
Yeah.
I don't know. Is that
Can you
good? Is
can you
that
play Sweet
bad?
Caroline now?
Yeah, exactly. But I was so into it that like I really thought that like you just get good enough, and it's people start bowing to you or something. So it was more like that. Like it's. I think for a lot of people that's the truth of the feeling. There's something you feel, and then you want to sort of toss it on other people to where they feel that way about you.
Hmm.
And that's the childish version of that, and some element of that always persists, I think.
Yeah.
But life will teach you, like through just experiencing the realities of playing music again and again and again, that's a childish notion, right? Reality will teach you that. And I think now more than ever, it's more just being zen about it, like just in the sense that I don't even think about like what I want
Hmm.
out of it. That's not a consideration. This is what I do. So it's just
Okay.
like it becomes like a true practice in the way that like like I don't know, like a Zen monk practices Zen. Like you get up in the morning, this is how you live your life, this is the path you chose. So
Hmm.
your path includes moving forward. Like it's like a fish in water. If you stop moving, you're dead. So it's
Hmm.
just like there's two sides to a musician, to a musician's life. There's the pragmatic side of getting ready for gigs and doing the things you have to do for whatever lessons, the way you make money, and then there's the person that you have to nourish every day that started learning music at whatever age, 14, 15, that's
Yeah.
still working on harmony, on
Hmm.
rhythm, and your job is to just sustain that person, at least give him like the little bit of nourishment it needs to not perish, to not like
Yeah.
become
Yeah.
thinner and die.
Yeah.
And then there's like moving forward. So if you're trying to move forward, you have to like really keep track of how you are using the material, whatever. It's like if it's like harmony, then you need to learn how to move harmony. You need to learn how to like speak through tunes with this harmonic language. If it's linear, could be that. But this idea of just with your practice, make it something that is just in motion.
Hmm.
And then when it comes to like your writing and the music you're producing, yeah, just like balance your output with the reality of the machine you've built. I would say that's a really, really important thing. Like for me to sit, like my band puts out a new hour of music every couple years.
Yeah.
So if I sit down and write a tune every day, I'm stuffing my drawer full of
Hmm.
tunes. I'm creating more output than I need. I'm not a composer.
Yeah.
I'm not Bach. No, there's no like gig on Sunday morning that I need to write for, right?
Yeah.
So you have to use your time. You have to do the right things when they're called for. If you need tunes for your band, yes, sit down and write tunes.
Mm.
If it's time to make an album, start getting the pieces in place. Start figuring out like, well, it's like, is this the kind of album where I'm doing basic tracks for? Like, are we all going in the studio? I'm getting like drums and bass, stripping things away and punching in. Are we doing like live in the studio? Am I recording some weird percussion arrangements and layering everything that? Are we doing it with a click track? Like, are we going to film content while we do? It's just like the real. Like, are we going to shoot video? You know, it's just
Yeah.
get in a pattern where you understand what it is that you're trying to do in this big world of music. What is your role in it? Like, you know, right now it's like I
Yeah.
teach all the time. I tour a few times a week. I make an album like once every year or two. Like, you know, we just had one coming out.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're doing another one in the fall. So have a sense of, you know, how to be effective as a person within the constraints of what your life in music is. If you're
Mm.
not doing anything yet, then yeah, just practice guitar. Like, so if you're
Mm.
not making money, or, you know, if you're just playing a few gigs here and there and have a few students, and yeah, just get it's that's great to have a time in your life where you're just practicing generally, you
Yeah.
know. But yeah, even in that, like, decide what it is that you're trying to become,
Mm.
you
Yeah.
know.
That's when because you've mentioned like early days, Racer X, Malmsteen,
Oh yeah.
Nuno. What could you? Was there like a point where you kind of made this transition, or not even a transition, but you kind of started to develop more of this blues jazz language?
It was like I was the sound of the high gain electric guitar. I mean, I still,
Mm.
that's most of what I do. Like, you know, I play archtops and like gypsy jazz for fun, but like
Yeah.
you know, most 90% of what I do professionally is like, you know, my like Strat and like that kind of sound. So for me, it was like this gateway between like Nuno and those guys into like Scott Henderson,
Hmm.
early Scott, like Tribal Tech, Alan Holdsworth, um, you know, the Uzeb, like, you know, just like straight up like 80s, 90s fusion with the electric guitar sound was like this, to me, really similar type of guitar tone, but all of a sudden that this context, it was like, whoa, what the fuck is this music? Like, I don't know what's going on. Greg Howe was
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
real gateway drug into that. Um, so yeah, that sent me down this rabbit hole of like trying to just understand what the music was. And at first I don't even remember, like, I remember having really strong preferences way towards like the rock guys than the fusion guys. And
Mm.
after a while it was kind of it just it just became what was coming out of me, because I didn't write rock songs. I didn't write like pop songs with like a
Yeah.
80s sound and like the guitar being like a little compartment in the structure. Like, it was more like, you know, the meal.
Mm.
And it was a real organic process. I think it was just me and the saxophone player in Marvin. Like, we got together when we were like 21, 22, I think,
Okay.
and started writing music together. And everything was just shaped by the music we were writing, because we had to learn how to play it. And then you're
Mm.
just, you know, we were writing songs for drums, electric bass, saxophone, and guitar. So
Yeah.
even when they were poppier, they were always in that vein. Like, what are you going to do with that instrumentation?
Yeah. Okay. Um, is there anything like when you look at like reels on Instagram, or you go through YouTube, or you see these like certain guitar players? Is like, what do you think most people, and like including all your students as well, what do you think most people need to work more on?
Um, I think that, well, first of all, I'm probably not a good litmus test of the zeitgeist when it
Okay.
comes to like, you know, like that's I don't proclaim to like have some sort of like objective criteria. This is like, if you want to speak to my heart
Yeah.
subjectively, which I don't know why you would, but my feeling is that the days of editing are close to being over. The days of people being impressed by this sound that you are making in your home studio by by making your playing more precise artificially, and
Hmm.
then creating a video to basically trick us into thinking that that's the sound that's emerging out of you. I think that we are at the very end of that as an exciting and acceptable um, format.
Okay.
I think that there's a place for editing. It's fine to, like, take a bum note out or polish the sound or do things like that.
Yeah.
But this thing of, like, that's the art form. That's what you do. You sit there like you beat detective and quantize your playing and tune everything and
Hmm.
replace notes and record it in halftime and speed things up. Like, there's just, everybody is onto that, and I think that this is the a type of that's the phobia that's like it's all birthed from this, like, um unwillingness to deal with what you actually sound like.
Yeah.
I think that's a very, like, big part of what you see online now, and I think more people are wising up to what that looks and sounds like and moving away from that. So I would say not go down that path. I think there was a time where you could get a lot of exposure and even money going down that path, and I think that's not the wise path to go down. I think the path of just sounding good on your instrument
Mm.
and honing in something worth presenting and capturing it in a more lo-fi way um, is almost more exciting now. There's a little bit of a return to authenticity.
Yeah.
So I think that's just, like, in terms of conceptualizing the direction, more the way people should go. I think even though it's harder than ever, um, people need to go out there and play music live, uh, but create the musical situations that they would like to be in. Like,
Mm.
there's nothing wrong, obviously, with playing in a cover band or something, but if you are serious about, like, let's say, improvised music in a specific brand of it with a specific sound and a specific guitar tone and a specific way of playing and a length of solo that you like, and you know try to gain experience doing your thing, whatever that is.
Mm.
Like, come up with the act. Like, it's like there's a lot of compromise musically that people are doing, and then they gain, like, experience, but it's not the kind of experience that's going to get them to where they want to go. Like, Charlie Parker played bebop for people,
Yeah.
right? Like, Paco de Lucia played flamenco for people. Like,
Yeah.
Alan Holdsworth played his fusion for people. You could go out and do your thing for people. That's the thing. If you want to get better fast,
Mm.
that is the fastest way.
Yeah.
There's no replacement for you doing exactly what you want to do with no compromising artistically in front of people, even if it's like for the wait staff. Go
Yeah.
out and do that, and then use the time you have to practice to ask yourself questions about what went wrong during those situations and how you're going to solve it.
Mm. Wow. I think that's probably one of the most concise answers I've had to to any one of those questions. And do you think anything's missing
I think a
from
lot of
people's
things are
playing?
missing. Yeah, yeah. I think a lot of. I think talent at the end of the day is your ability to look at a big picture
Yeah.
and identify the elements inside that picture that contribute to the composition in the most profound ways. So I
Mm.
think we all listen to, let's say, a Wes Montgomery solo, and we're like, "That's great," but some of us understand some things about what. Okay, it's great. We all see the big picture, but what about it is great?
Mm.
I'd say spend time thinking about what components are making something work, and then look at your own playing and ask yourself, are those components present?
Yeah.
And how are they present? Like, it's about subtlety. Like, you know, I think about music in a very simple way. Like, when I teach, I say that there are only three elements that make up what we call music. There is notes, which I call harmony. That's the
Hmm.
umbrella term. any combination, chords, counterpoint, whatever, everything with notes.
Yeah.
There's rhythm and there's timbre, right? So and if you correlate like sound color and
Hmm.
placement, and if you
Yeah.
correlate those to English like questions, it's what happens,
Yeah.
that's your notes, where or when it happens is your
Hmm.
rhythm, and how it happens is the sound color, how you are playing things. Um, I think that, since like the problem of what happens is a problem of 12 notes, most people get a sense at some point of their development in the style they're playing of what notes fit.
Mm.
Rhythm, it's a sliding scale of awareness, but people tend to get that somewhat together. You could always like you could do better than that. That's a big missing part. Like if
Mm.
you think you're doing better than you are, then you probably have a lot of room for growth. Like there always is a more concise way of feeling things, of moving parts of the body that allow you to connect, to be more grounded to the rhythm. And then
Yeah.
there's the how things happen, which is where the big blind spots are. That's the elegance, that's the dance, that's
Yeah.
like the animating of the music. And we without it, it's just stuff happening in places. But how things are done, like
Mm.
there's a certain, it's a totality of motion meets knowledge. And you look at Stevie Ray Vaughan, just like, it's pure action. It's like how you throw your body at the moment, right? And it's
Mm.
that part. I think there's every incentive online, because we're all dealing with these cameras, to emote, to pretend to. It's like acting while playing,
Mm.
but there's a sincere motion that you see in Stevie Ray Vaughan. It looks fucking great. He's
Yeah.
aware that he's performing, but it's not like watching whatever, like a prodigy guy, like doing stink face at the
Yeah. Yeah.
camera. Well, like it's just like that thing. It's like it's so self aware, and it's coming at the expense of the articulation. Like,
Yeah.
just to operate from within the music in a sincere way and establish this kind of like meditation when you're like attacking the music from within, um, and maintain this focus and this concentration. I think that's really something that's been missing.
Mm. Yeah, I'd agree. And what are you listening to at the moment?
What am I listening to? A lot of there's Moana 2, that's big. Little Mermaid has been a lot of that. Toy Story 2, which
Okay.
is actually surprising. I actually just arranged the Jesse's song,
Oh, it's a lovely one, isn't it?
right? So my daughter
Oh
fucking loves
man.
that one.
Yeah.
You know that one? How does that one go out? I was working on open triad, so I had to. I actually am listening to that.
Okay.
So yeah, the bridge
That's
for
cool.
that one is like harmonically insane. I don't know if you've
I've,
ever
do you know,
checked it out.
I've never transcribed it. It's one of those songs that apparently when she finished the recording session, like all the producers were in tears.
Oh, check this out. This fuck is that
Lovely.
chord, right?
Yeah.
This one. That goes something. So yeah, a lot of whatever my 3-year-old is
Yeah.
into. Honestly, that's been most of it. But like I don't know, like I listen to some jazz, Joe Pass, Wes Montgomery. I really like Sonny Stitt,
Yeah.
Cannonball Adderley. I don't listen to fusion. I just checked out everything already like a million times, and
Yeah.
it's at that point it's kind of like fusion is a kind of music that's a victim of its own time. It just came out with the synths and like a lot of the outdated sound. So it's hard. Like for me, it's very nostalgic, but like it's hard to take seriously nowadays. Like especially the stuff. It was like early '90s, late '80s. It's a lot of
Yeah.
synth hits.
Yeah.
It didn't
All right.
age well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Danny, listen, I will let you get on with the rest of your day. Thank you so
Sure.
much for your time. I really, really do appreciate it.
Oh, thank you for doing this. I hope that this was what you hoped.
And more.
Oh, okay, good.